Hey guys, I just want to give you a quick overview of what you are going to be watching and doing for the rest of this block day and this weekend, and what I'm looking for you to turn in on Tuesday. So, I gave you two papers and I gave you 10 note cards. The first paper is this crap test checklist. And I know crap test is funny, giggle about it quietly because people are still taking a test. All this paper is, and when you're watching the video over the crap test, you do not have to fill anything out. All this paper is asking you when you are researching for your research essay, and let me remind you, you're researching a diagnosis for your character. You're finding articles and sources that prove your character has the disease they say that you say they do. So when you're looking for sources, the sources you looked at on Monday or Tuesday, they may be reliable, they may not be reliable. Here's how you're going to be able to tell. You're going to go through this checklist and ask yourself, is the source current? Meaning, is it made in 2009 or newer? Is it relevant? Is this helpful to you? If you're answering no to any of these questions, go to a new source. I promise there will be lots of information out there that is created by actual doctors with actual degrees. You do not want to use a source by some blogger who had some mental illness at one point. It's not going to be credible for this specific paper. So if you do not know how to find a credible source, or you don't know how to tell if one is reliable, first, I made this super handy checklist for you that makes it really easy and really clear to tell. Second, the second video in your list on Canvas goes through this process in a lot more detail. So if you've always struggled with finding sources, watch that video. The next video is about how we're going to be taking notes. So I gave you this sheet about note cards and using note cards. Actually, this isn't the sheet. Let me find your actual sheet. Here we go. This is the sheet I created for you. I just wanted, the only difference is it has a little more information and a picture on it. I created this sheet to show you how you're going to record the information that you see once you find that credible source. So how are we writing it down? A lot of you just put your quotes on a piece of notebook paper and call it a day. You are basically going to do the same thing, but I'm forcing you, using this note card method, I am forcing you to be a bit more organized. I am only going to make you're going to have to turn in lots of research to me, and every week you're going to turn in a little bit more. I'm going to have every American Novel student turn in 10 note cards to me this Tuesday. If you hate this method by next Tuesday, you do not want to do it, and you have something else that helps you and keeps you organized, that is fine with me. You're just going to run it by me on Tuesday and we'll figure out what your plan is. But everyone's going to do this on Tuesday, or due on Tuesday. So the note card method is basically just how you're recording your information once you find that reliable source. So watch the second video. It goes into a lot of detail about what kind of cards you create. Every single source you have is going to have a bibliography card or a works cited card with a number on it. The number is just for what source that is. And then you're going to have way, way, way more of the information cards and just putting information on. If this doesn't make sense, that is completely fine. The second video goes into a lot of detail about how you make your note cards and what your note cards look like. The third video is me showing you how to put all of this together. I'm researching Blanche, and I'm going to diagnose her with borderline personality disorder. So I literally will go through and show you, what does a credible source look like? What search engine should you use to find credible sources really easily rather than sifting through Google? And then I go through and tell you what do I put on note cards and what don't I put on note cards. I want to give you a quick sneak peek, and this might be too soon to show you this, but if you're kind of confused, you don't know what I'm talking about or where this is going, this is what your stuff is going to look like. So say these are my note cards here. These two are my bibliography cards. My first source is number 1. Anything with a number 1 on it comes from this source, National Institute of Mental Health. I know that because of the number, and I only had to make one works cited or bibliography card. Then, based on that website, so the National Institute of Mental Health, this website, I'm going to sift through, and again, video 3 goes through this, or video 4 goes through this in a lot more detail, but I'm going to sift through this information and find out what matches with what I see from Blanche. Does she have varying moods, self-image, and behavior issues? Absolutely she does. People with borderline personality disorder may experience intense episodes of anger, depression, and anxiety. Yeah, that seems pretty spot on. Does she avoid abandonment? Yep. Does she have distorted and unstable self-image? Yep, she covers all the lights up. So anything that relates to Blanche, I'm going to put on a note card. So if you look at my note cards, I have basically, and this is a really easy way to think about it, the symptoms written as topics. So what is the definition of borderline personality disorder? That's on the front of this note card. And then when I flip it over here, borderline personality disorder is a mental illness marked by an ongoing pattern of varying moods. That's what I just read to you, what you just saw on that website. Other things I found on the website, mood swings are part of borderline personality disorder. And on the back of this one, I've written what the mood swings look like and an example of those. Also, dissociation is a part of borderline personality disorder. Due on Tuesday is one source, one bibliography card, and 9 information cards. Now let's say you cannot find 9 pieces of information on one site. All I'm looking for is 10 note cards total. So feel free to go to a second source, make a second bibliography card, and use information cards from that other source. So, for example, I found on this website, number 1, that part of borderline personality disorder is dissociation. I have no idea what dissociation is. I'm going to look that up next. My second source becomes information about dissociation. I know this sounds confusing. The other videos go into a lot more detail. Come back to this part of this video once you've gotten more information about the note card system. But what I want to show you, and I have real tangible note cards on my desk that you can look through and you can see all of this and how I did it for Blanche. But what I want to show you and what I like about this system is we've just set up our essay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 essentially fake note cards that are going to become 5 different paragraphs for my research essay. So I'm going to define the disorder, and then each paragraph is going to be a different symptom. And the reason why we're using note cards instead of using paper is because I can move them around. When we come to the brainstorming phase, maybe I decide I want dissociation to come first and mood swings to come second. But if I want dissociation to come first, then I need this one here. And you can physically move around your information. All you have to do after this step is type it into an essay and put your quotes from your book in with your own words. Very, very simple system. I know it's a little bit confusing at the beginning, but the reason that we want to do this and we want to organize our work this way is because you're not going to have to outline. You're doing all of the work of your writing right now, and we're going to start that today in class. So whatever you have questions about, go to that video. Once you've watched the videos you need to, get started working. Make your 10 note cards. Remember, have at least one source and 9 information cards. If you need a second, all the better. You're going to need 3 sources total for this essay.